Hi everyone, Dr. Liz here. I'm rocking the gigantic bun today, so hopefully it won't be too distracting. Um, I'm going to talk about when you think that it's all the other person's fault when you're in a relationship. So occasionally I will get a call from a partner that says it's really not me. It really is all the other person's fault. All the problems are their fault. And if they would just learn to do XYZ, usually it means communicate. They'll actually use that word. If they would just communicate, then all our problems will be fixed. But I can't seem to do anything so that they'll communicate with me. All right, let's break this down. Okay, I really feel for these people. Honestly, there are some situations where it really is the other person's fault. If you're in a highly abusive marriage, emotional or physical, if someone has like an intractable kind of personality disorder, meaning they're a sociopath or psychopath, officially antisocial personality disorder, BPD, borderline personality disorder, I believe you can recover from. I'm a BPD specialist, and you can learn emotional regulation, you can learn how to soothe yourself, you can learn how to relate better to the point where you really don't meet criteria. I think it is recovery is possible with that. Does take a lot of work, but it is. Or the other common one is narcissistic personality disorder, where someone really does meet all the criteria and they really do always blame you, never take responsibility, refuse to talk to you about certain things, that type of thing. Okay, so there are some situations where I'll say, yeah, you're married to someone or you're with someone who isn't doing some healthy relationship things. So then it becomes a conversation about why. Like, why are you with that person? If they refuse to change, if they refuse to change some of their patterns, if they really do, don't take any advice that any professionals give them, if you've tried everything under the book, which is often what they will say, and nothing has helped, then let's talk about why you're still there. Why are you still in a relationship that's incredibly unsatisfying and sometimes, depending on what's going on, abusive. Now, I come from a place where it took me many, many years to leave an emotionally abusive relationship myself. I had 2 kids with my ex-husband and was not working, and I knew I was in a really tough position financially. There are some really good reasons that people stay. Another reason is they feel like, the person would get joint custody and they don't take care of the kids at all, or they're abusive to the kids, not to the point of something I could report, but they don't treat them well, so I'm going to stay to protect my kids. I totally get that. Okay, I really do, and have compassion for that. And I know for myself, there was this moment I had where I was like, well, I can stay in this marriage and model this to my 2 girls, how to stay in an abusive marriage, and I can stay depressed, or I can have a chance at happiness. And so for me, I chose the chance at happiness, and that was a very long-term plan, over several years, to get myself financially stable and work all of that out and everything. And then, of course, we had to blow up way before that plan was implemented, where I was like, get out. But that is history, right? My ex-husband and I get along pretty well these days. All of that forgiveness has been worked on for many, many years. But my point in saying that is, even in that situation, I would not say that it was all his fault. Really, I would never say that. Sometimes when that kind of relationship dynamic is going on, where one person is refusing to talk or something like that, sometimes that's a shutdown. Like, what kind of safety is being created to have discussions in that relationship, to solve problems in the relationship together. And couples face all kinds of problems around childcare, around groceries, around someone going out. I mean, all kinds of like more mundane problems come up, and larger ones as well. What city are we going to live in? Are we going to be by family? All kinds of stuff. So if the couple never really navigates how to solve a problem together in a way that feels good at the end result, then there's some room to work on that. If there is a process where one person is feeling completely shut out, shut down, all right, we work on creating safety. If none of that works, then it's like, why are you staying? and let's look at those reasons and see what you want to do about this. Are you choosing to live unhappily? And how do you balance that with some of your very practical needs? So those are all questions that come up when I hear someone call in and say, it's all the other person's fault. This is all the stuff that runs through my head. Now, I stopped working with couples together a couple of years ago. I have extensive training in couples therapy, several different couples therapy systems, Gottman's developmental level, Bergman back in the day, like several different systems I have training in, which is only about 15% of therapists that have that type of training. A lot of therapists do couples therapy without having any specific training. I just checked that out if you're looking for a couples therapist, but I stopped doing the traditional, like, you come in together and talk things out. I began to work simply with one individual, saying, all right, let's look at this. Tell me your goal. If your goal is to stay married, I will work for that goal, but I'm going to ask some hard questions too. And how do we create some change in you so that you affect the marriage positively? Now, occasionally I have someone who just doesn't believe this because they're so entrenched in the idea that it's the other person's fault and they need to do the work, and it's letting them off the hook if I go to therapy and do the work. Like, why should I do all the work? I always do all the work. And, that just lets them off the hook. That's your choice. That's your choice. If you're getting into fairness and battle and who's doing what and tit for tat and who's doing more work, and I'm always the one who has to change, all that kind of thing, then again, that tells me there's some dynamic going on in your marriage that is not healthy. And is there room for you to work on that? Yeah. If you don't want to, don't do it. Don't see a therapist if you don't want to. If you feel like, nope, this is all on him to change, okay, that's fine. Don't go to therapy. Let them do it. Now, again, I get this from both sides. It's not just women calling up about husbands or boyfriends, or it's not just men calling up about girlfriends or wives. It is all over the gamut. Okay, it's both. All right. So I hope that gives you a better understanding of how I work, my thoughts around this, whether it is truly someone's fault, quote unquote, whether there's still room for change in that. Now, if there's a safety issue, like you are completely unsafe physically or your kids, then obviously I recommend getting out of there as soon as you can, making a safety plan, talking to Women in Distress, which is the organization in the U.S., trying to find an organization if you're abroad that helps you leave safely a relationship so that you're not acted out upon violently. Okay, so safety is an issue. That comes first. All right, I'm going to end there. And remember, there's all kinds of good stuff over at my website, drlizhypnosis.com. There's free hypnosis to decrease fear and anxiety. There's also one for emotional stability. So just know that when you join the newsletter, you actually get like 4 files, I think. At one point it was 3. I think it's 4 now. So run over there and do that if you want those free downloads, immediate downloads, and start helping yourself today. Peace.